So it's not every day that a federal district court judge would require a top Homeland Security official, Border Patrol chief, to have to check in with her every single day and give a report. But that's exactly what just happened yesterday in a court in Chicago. Judge Sarah ELLIS had hauled Greg Bovino, who's the border chief, into her courtroom to answer to why agents are not abiding by her decisions. Now, this all started because the federal agents have invaded. There's this thing called Operation Midway Blitz. If you don't know, quick background, the Trump administration have, he's doing mass deportation. That's all he does. Immigration all the time. The Department of Justice does nothing else. They've closed out all the offices. That's all they do. Immigration. That's it. And I help you with your food prices, and I help you with your life whatsoever. In fact, he's like giving away billions of dollars to other countries, grifting, stealing, making his son crypto money, and that's it, and doing nothing for people, essentially starving Americans. Immigration 100% of the time. So part of his Midway Blitz, it's part of his campaign to deport people. He's going to various different blue cities. And cynically, you might want to say this, essentially is part of a larger scheme, have an excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act, because according to his puppeteers at Project 2025, they want to stop courts. Courts are the only things right now. And that's what I'm doing. I'm JJ Legal. If you're new here, one of the things is I'm helping people decode beyond the headlines the lawsuits filed against the Trump administration and those that the Trump administration lodges against others. And I'm taking you beyond the headlines, digging in the crates, digging into the dockets, and letting you to the extent to which they do actually abide. And the judicial system, especially the district courts and the state's attorney generals and the nonprofit groups representing the people and the unions representing the federal workers, civilian workers, are actually doing the damn thing. They have a great winning record against the Trump administration in getting what's called preliminary injunctions or temporary restraining orders filed and affirmed by the district court judges. So that's where we are today in this case. They part of this thing called Operation Midway Blitz. Trump's just entering the different blue cities, infiltrating them, causing ruckus, essentially creating a situation environment that invites protesters. And then when they invite the protesters, the ICE agents, actually headed by Greg Bovino, who was brought in, are aggressive, where they're tear gassing. They're just doing some most. This is a video here of this woman. I try to avoid videos like this because it triggers me. And this video here, this woman is just talking to a thing, and he's spray painted. So that's in Portland. Right. So this case is about Chicago. They're doing things like this, essentially firebombing and pepper spraying even police officers. The organization representing press and media entities filed a lawsuit. The judge, Sarah ELLIS, assigned to this case, had already preliminarily blocked ICE agents from just using these chemical weapons and said, if you are to use it, I'm going to ban it altogether. You need to give people a couple of warnings to back off, because crowd control of interest is a thing. She also said you need to have body footage because, one, we don't trust you. So the body camera that normal police have to create because of trust and accountability, you and your agents have to wear it as well. That's what she said initially. Not a day passed where she was on watching TV and saw that they had an actual rifle pointed in front of a 17-year-old minor. There's images of firebombs. There are images of a pastor that was praying without notice. Just all of a sudden, they just pepper spray him, violating the order. So she calls him in last Friday and said, God damn it, I need you to stop doing this. Give warning. I need you back in my office in front of me next week to account for this, to answer for this. And they over the weekend, while she's waiting, there's video images of Greg Bovino throwing tear gas. And then there's a crash. There's all sorts of freaking chaos. It continues. 2 strikes. So what happened was, when she brought him in, she was like, answered to him and said, listen here. I do not trust you. I do not trust anything you guys say. Now you have to come every single day. What time is it? It's almost 4 o'clock here, Eastern Standard Time. So it's probably 3 something there. At 6 p.m., I need you to give me an account of what happened, every single thing. I need the records, the logs, everything. And you to come forth and tell me, because I don't trust you guys, because you guys will be monitored until the next hearing. The next hearing is November 5th. So until then, I need you to answer and come here every single day. She stopped short of stopping banning smoke things altogether, but that's a good start. And she also said, what was the thing that was most disturbing about this weekend is because it happened nearby. There were school children participating in a Halloween parade in Chicago's Old Irving Park. And there was another instance in Little Village where canisters were just thrown without warning. And it's like, they're just lawless. So she said, you can enforce the laws Congress passed, but you must do so in a manner consistent with your obligations under law. He has to report every single day and chart every non-immigrant arrest made since September 2nd. So we're going all the way back since they got there, including dates, charges, and outcomes, sealed to protect the names. She said you got to turn over all force reports, any available body cam footage from those operations. And he himself, Bovino, has to wear the weapons. And yeah, so that's what was happened in the end of the day. It's very rare. But it's a form of oversight, as accountability. I know a lot of people say there's no accountability for what they do, and they get frustrated, and I get frustrated as well. However, I guess the way I see this, there's a deeper dive in all of this. I'm going to discuss it for my private communities in another video after this. So if you're a member of my private communities on right now on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, I'm going to share this video over there. Actually, I take it back. I'm going to just share this to my private community in YouTube and Substack for now. I am going to put it on TikTok and Instagram. I need to create Instagrams and Patreons. I'll update on Patreons. But anyway, but before I go into the deeper dive, what this shows is accountability. A lot of people are frustrated because it looks like there's no accountability, but there is accountability. And this is part of it. Monitoring, building a record. I did a video recently and said that all of this kind of helps the grand scheme of things, the grand resistance movement. There are something that could be used with having them come in front of the judge, answer in a public setting, sometimes under oath. Because again, what Donald Trump admitted this week is that he admitted that he's not going to have a third term. So there's an end to all of this. The statute of limitations, 5 years. So I'll leave it there. But yeah, so this is huge. It just shows as the top officials reporting daily that statements that they make publicly on Fox News can be weighed against them. And then we are watching them. And the best thing we have as Americans, the best things we have is one of the best things is the freedom of press and the freedom of assembly and the freedom to protest. Now, in true authoritarian countries, which I've come from a continent full of them, initially, I'm an immigrant from Africa. And one thing I can tell you is that right now, in some countries in Africa, protesters actually are unalived by the government. And we know that's happened elsewhere. And protests, because of those incidents and stories, people just don't protest because it's serious. And there's no accountability. The judges and court system aren't as active and aren't as effective as ours is reading them in. And I say this often, that Donald Trump doesn't appear that way, because I know a lot of people don't think so. But one thing I say often, and one of these days I'm gonna create a chart and put it here, is they do actually respond. They return websites. They give people their passports. They bring people back into the country. They return funding. They have on the dockets, they rescind memos because the courts say, I need to see evidence of this memo rescinded. I need to see evidence of this money that you returned. I need to see the websites returned. And so people push back when they sue. But that's the problem, is that they are lawless. I call them a whack-a-mole, because just as soon as they'll get stopped once, they'll do it again. It's multiple times Donald Trump has sued a sanctuary state for not cooperating and participating in immigration. And each time it happened in Illinois during his first term. It happened in Illinois this term. It happened in New York. He's suing different places. And every single time there's a federal district court judge that says our Constitution, the 10th Amendment, doesn't require the states to do that. States have sovereignty. They have the right to have these laws, these local laws, to say what they need to do. They're not obligated. But he still does it. He still rescinds the funds and requires the states to actually sue. And he's whack-a-mole. And he's told Posse Comitatus Act limits his ability to deploy troops in California, and he goes and deploys them in DC, and then he goes to Chicago, and he goes to Portland. And as he recently confessed, and I think I'll put it here, he confessed that he decided not to go to San Francisco because somebody told him. And I said in the previous video, the only reason he went to Portland is because he was watching TV and he saw Fox News use old footage from 2020. And that is why he said Portland's a mess. So it's not going on intelligence. It's going on his TV watching and just random people talking to him. That's how his policies vote, because he's not complex. He's a very simpleton, and he's influenced by the last person who spoke with him. Like, he would make a decision one day, and whoever speaks to him the next day, he changes it. Anyway, Change Legal, each one teach one. If you like the deeper dive and you're a member of the community, stay tuned for that, or check it out over there.